Fixing to go live, guys. Be careful what you say. Don't say anything you're going to regret down the road. We are live.
Meeting called to order on October 3rd at 5:30 p.m. Members present: Jeff, David, and David. Absent: Renee and Andy. Members present: we have Brad, Allison, and John. First thing is the approval of the minutes.
I have read the minutes and
One motion, any second? All in favor? Aye. Visitors and petitioners, we have Brad. Anything you want to review with us today?
I know we got, I guess, food parking this morning on a project.
We'll get into them in old business.
Okay.
But if you're ready to move on to old business, we will.
Okay. Full business.
Go ahead. You want me to?
Go ahead.
Pickleball court is done.
was great.
It's done. We're hauling dirt now on the north end. We're building up that area on the north end so that it we can actually at some point down the road, if we need to or want to, we can actually build another one or build something else, another structure. So we're building it up so it's, I don't know if it's going to be actually flush with it, but at least it won't be the slope off. It'll be more contoured and then gradual slope for mowing. It's the same vein we're working on. We've got designs for or basic designs for a bathroom to go there. The one we've been talking about, the full size one. I've got to get some engineering, not architectural, but some structural engineered drawings of the walls, foundation. Gonna get some electrical, plumbing, and HVAC for approval for that. And so we're working on it. Something about a 28 by 28 structure. There'll be female on the right, male on the left. You go in through a center section. In the front, will come up and it'll have a barrier, like a windbreak or weather break in the front. So it'll go straight in, be a 10-foot opening, and then have 9 feet on either side. You know, both your drinks are right there under the awning. You'll have it's almost like a windbreak before you go into the bathroom on each side. And even the drink fountains will be under roof. So this one will be heated and cooled. We're going to build it probably 10-foot ceilings so that we'll get vents up enough that, or even if we were going to put a vent or a unit internally, the thought was to put a unit in the mechanical room and then have it filter blow into both bathrooms and then vent back through. Just do a complete loop and just utilize it that way. If you know, like I said, we're trying to do both. I don't know that this will be. We thought about trying to do it in such a way that it might be viable for a tornado shelter, but I don't know that we can really afford that. So, but we'll see where we go with that and see what we're looking at. As far as we had 150,000 budgeted for bathrooms, and was hoping to try to get this one plus 2 singles. We'll just have to see how far we can go with that. I definitely want to try to make at least that one in one single. If I can get the second one, at least get the one at the tennis court, the unisex at the tennis court, and the big one up here. But the unisex that we're going to put at it'll be an ADA unisex at the tennis court will be the same kind we put down here on the west end of the disc golf and hiking trail.
Okay.
Well, that's the plan.
Yeah. We could see what the finished product looks like on that one. Any thoughts into just cutting into that hill, or are you just trying to keep it at some level? We're talking about below the tennis courts, the pickleball courts. That's the area you're talking about, correct?
We put so much dirt in there right now, you won't have to cut into it. It'll be a step down, but it won't be, but it'll come out. I mean, it's gonna come, you may have a few steps down from the existing, but you're not gonna have that long slope out. It's gonna go out straight and slope off to the ends. But God knows how many triaxles he brought in so far.
It's tried.
You'd be surprised if you go up there and look now, and it's an amazing amount of dirt they moved. And this is all coming from the basin, the detention basin we're building, stormwater detention basin. So it's not costing us anything for that other than the hauling. Oh, and we'll get the hauling either. So we're actually getting the dirt just moved over from over here as part of that other job. So
that's good.
Yeah. Now, well, dozer work, stuff like that, we have to rent for the dozer. The bicycle trail, well, not bicycle, I mean, the mountain bike, we've got it 3.5 miles on it now. That's what the money makers have actually got, is 3.5 miles. We still have got to put the permanent barricades in off of Railroad Avenue and Cedar to keep cars from going down that road.
But when you put those in, are we gonna just concrete the entrance part? To put that in?
Most likely, we're going to put in, until we determine what decorative we want to try to utilize, we're probably going to wind up using some of those median barriers eventually. Just some big concrete, and set them up staggered so that golf carts and bicycles can get through, but cars can't. The only thing I'm concerned about is whether or not we're going to have to put fencing along it so that someone doesn't cut across off Cedar onto their property and come across that way with something larger. I always look at the worst case scenario because there's going to be some goofball that's going to try that, you know.
Might be a nice way to dress up the entrance.
That too. And so that was something we were considering doing, is some sort of fencing down through there.
Some signage just to what the actual trail is, but it's part of the trail.
Yeah. But right now, Brad's got 1.5 tons of other things going on. We've looked at the base is done for this parking lot out back. I got a quote. For that size, they're still looking at $115 a ton. So cost of that's going to be somewhere between $80,000 and $100,000 to do this parking lot back here. So I don't see that happening this year. I'm kind of hoping it might have come down somewhat, but for 40,000 square feet, price per ton is going to be $115 a ton. So that's not going to work out. It's going to be, and then striping on top of that. So it's somewhere 75. He said between 75 and 80 to start, and depending on what else is going on, it could go up from there. So I don't see that happening right at the moment. I think it'll be another budget item. Yeah. Hopefully. Oh, it'll get paid eventually. It's just a matter of when. Because we've got too much laid in there for that. That may give us an opportunity to expand it just a little more too down the road if we can, don't we need to. In Memorial Park, the splash pad is now, people can go in and sit, but no one goes into the water. We're not treating it we stopped treating it after this weekend. So we're not treating it anymore. So the water is not safe for human occupation, although we're going to keep it going. We're going to run it for the pink walk. We're going to run it for 10 days, pink. And after that, we'll change it to orange for Halloween. And then after Halloween, we'll put it back on a rotating color for the rest of the year. So, but it's what's the dates on it? The 7th to the 17th, is that right?
7 to 17.
It'll be pink. From the 17th to from the 17th or 18th to the end of the month, it'll be orange for Halloween. And then after that, we'll just put it back on a rotating basis till after, well,
Part of
So
it, they
it's
got
been-
over 3 miles in that bike trail
yeah,
in that area.
he's constantly tweaking it, so.
He's wanting me to come over there sometime, do some more bush hogging
Mhm.
over here closer to the school side. He thinks he can add another, I'd say, maybe half mile or something. But through there, but
Well, originally he had thought he could get 4 miles out of it. He's gonna do his dadgummest to get it. But, I mean, you're talking about 25 acres and right now he's got 3.5 miles and 25 acres. I thought that was pretty good.
Is there gonna be an access point from the school?
No,
No.
I don't think so.
they're talking about wanting one up there. I don't know. It'll be a-
So the only access points.
The access point would be off of Cedar or out of the park here.
Is it gonna be something that the high school can use for
They do.
competition?
Well, they won't want it for competition. It's more beginner's trail,
Okay.
but they come over
Is
and
it
train on it.
paved? Is some of it paved?
No.
Okay, good. It's
No.
natural.
It's all natural, yeah. And we've got them coming over. I mean, they got the cross country comes over and does some training on it, and put their beginners on it. So they are utilizing it. So,
And the one in Kentucky Dam is pretty long.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like
and
16 miles or something
it's
like
technical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
this one's almost too flat to be much more than a training room.
Okay.
And get some exercise in, but it's not just for bike trail. It's a walking trail too. I mean, it's used for any kind of, you want to hike it, you can hike it. You get that ability as well.
Get on it.
The drive through there, that access road is up and running, so that's no problem. I talked with, I haven't got the final on it, but I was talking to the gentleman, Mr. Colburn, about his subdivision he's wanting to do over on the side of it butts the east side of Memorial Park. And we're trying to determine how to handle the stormwater runoff and stuff like that. And after going through 2 or 3 options, it's my opinion that he's better off just doing a detention basin and then letting it drain out slowly, just like it does right now, as opposed to trying to do a water feature or something that's going to have to be maintained by HOA, which HOAs are, I don't have much faith in the HOAs. So,
Is there nothing in there for subdivision?
oh yeah, it's not going to be a big one, but he's got one. It's going to be on top.
Okay.
The lots would actually come down the hill, but all the development will be up on top for the most part. So,
Did he buy any land for that house that was for sale? Or no? The old Jones, Kenny Ashley's?
all his property is right up there, right across from the United Methodist Church. That's what I'm talking about. You're thinking about the one over on 7th?
Yes.
Okay, he's already got his laid out. His subdivision is laid out.
Oh, no. Oh, I'm not gonna look at it. I thought Coburn had some back in off of behind Mitch Steele back in there, that's all. And I thought that came down behind the Jones Estate, old Jones Estate. Anyway, I thought.
No, this is just right up there on Oak Park Boulevard.
Oh, okay.
And from there to the east side of Memorial Park.
Oh,
He's got that strip down through there.
okay.
That's what he's doing. He's working on. Yeah.
Well, that'd be-
It'll be nice, just put more houses.
How many acres is it?
Honestly, I don't know. It's not a big one.
6, 5?
But I can't remember. What many houses did he have on it? You remember? 12.
They're gonna put a road. change. Before they upgrade this one.
And I could see.
He's not got his plat finalized, but he is working on it, so.
Five,
No,
five.
5 acres, okay. Yeah, there's quite a bit, I mean, it's more than you would think.
Everybody gets a half acre. There's 10 homes. You're right.
Um, what else we got going? Pickleball, since the new courts are open, have just about left the tennis courts completely. At this point, I don't see any changes in where we are as far as they go. If we paint them again, we'll have to see where it goes from there. So, but I don't think there's going to be any competition for them at this point, unless it's needed. We'll just have to see what we want to do with that.
Any feedback on the courts yet?
Huh?
Any feedback on the courts? On how they like them?
50 something individuals. Yep. I think they're okay with them. They're using them. I think there was 50 something folks in those cars backed up and parked out all over the place for Saturday. So it's going well.
I can see them doing a tournament and then need those other two, so secondary.
You got to do tournaments. What I'm hearing, you really need 8 courts. But if you don't have 8 courts, that's not much. And if you don't have them together, it doesn't work either. Again, this is stuff I'm hearing. I don't know this for a fact.
Yeah, it does go by real fast. I went to a meeting I just as an observer at Paducah Middle School.
Yeah.
And I would say that was accurate.
So if they, we've got room for something else there. If they ever build another set of them, if it continues on and they need to expand, we ever build another set of them, at that point, for sure, I'll take, at the next painting of the tennis court, we'll get rid of the pickleball and just leave it tennis. So, but I can't, at this point, I can't see taking those stripes off until it's time to paint again. So,
But it's become probably the most popular, consistently used. It was getting that way at those tennis courts.
yeah.
Yeah, you had to wait.
Well, even like now, tennis magazines, they used to kind of not recognize pickleball. Now there's a whole monthly article on pickleball, so it's kind of made up, I guess, in a lot of ways. So it's encouraging both, so to be in some one or the other.
Yeah.
So that's good. Like should be able to go to this.
Old Park. At the lift station, still put in down there. We've got the lift station, but we haven't got it in yet. We have to put a new lift station down there. Old Park. That's really the only thing down there, isn't it?
Yeah, I think pretty much. We're gonna have to look into paving that eventually here, probably next couple of years. Some of that's getting really rough.
The parking lot.
Just the whole drive. Gravel parking lots are not rough. Unless you're barefoot.
It wakes my baby.
Let's see. I think that's sidewalks at the bathrooms down here at Dr. Park. Those have been completed. Mike Trail, while I say it's being completed, it's constantly under revision, but that's good. The gravel trail, that's completed. Pickleball's completed. The bike racks are the one thing we do not have yet, and neither do we have the install. We've got a table to install still for Memorial Park, memorial table for that. And then we've got the bike rack, the memorial table, the lift station, Was there another install? Oh, I tell you what was brought up last time was the question about having, some sort of shade canopies down there at the fountain, at the splash pad.
I think you're talking about the wrong group.
I saw when they brought it up. I think it's on this thing, yeah.
Well, I'm just bringing up what I found. A couple of options. One was, and the one I'm most interested in at this point in time, sun's pretty much going to track on the southern side of that. Okay. You can't really do anything about the morning and the late evening other than the trees are taking care of a good portion. So you're taking care of midday. So you need something that's going to break that sun on the south side from midday, the worst of the heat. And I understand because those are metal benches that they don't, they heat up pretty good. What I'm looking at and what I've talked to a vendor about is kind of an arc, not a complete dome, but an arc from the sun. This is the south. This would be the north here. So what this is doing is the sun rays are going to be hitting it here, and you got the bench down here. By itself, that doesn't look, but when you do 3 of them, kind of gives you a wave effect. That's kind of where I was going with that. Now these are, even though the canopy's off of them, the design of these is going to have some sort of structural, architectural design. It's going to come up almost triangular. It'll come up, it'll be wide at the base, but it'll come up and narrow, not to a point, but narrow, where all 3 will go into it. And then of course they have cross supports for that. That will be powder coated, or could be kept powder coated, so that once it's gone, once the canopies are off, then those kind of blend into the background. But if you put a blue on here, then it gives you kind of a wave effect that might go with the other instead of it being something that stands out and looks against it. So from the side, it looks like you're looking at maybe waves. So it's just something we were playing with. We were trying to look at something, nothing else really. I'm looking at this and going, okay, we can put one of them rectangular canopies up there that look like caca. And then you've got to deal with the base, whereas these bases would stay there. Now, you're talking about a pretty structure, so it's going to be, and Brad, this is another thing we need to talk about. The base for these is going to have to be sunk a couple feet down. In that area there, what's below that? Just rock and dirt?
Just, you're talking about perimeter outside.
Yeah, on the outside perimeter where the benches are. It won't get into the.
On the south and the west side, you'd be okay.
About on the
Inside, no, you've got.
East side and
That's
north
where
side
all
will
of the
be
supply
enough.
lines, all the drain lines.
What about the 2 on the ends and maybe leave the center one open?
Well, you've got the tank there on one end,
Oh,
and on the far end, you would probably be okay.
Couldn't we just, I mean, if we're gonna do it, couldn't we just get a bolt-on attachment and put either a navy blue or a forest green umbrella that you could take down in the wintertime?
Is that what they were talking about?
no, because they were talking about a canopy. They didn't go into any direct detail.
Like a playground canopy.
These right here, okay,
Disney is.
these right here, I looked at, they don't do the job.
Okay.
For them to work, they've got to stand up straight. Okay, that means they're going to be sticking up there in the air. These actually curve over the bench.
Like behind a soccer bench at a soccer thing.
Because I asked them about the shade, and they go like the shade's not really. They look good, they don't shade much. a lot, it's money for
Well,
nothing.
if you do that, you lose the breeze though, I mean, is it trained on shade for?
It doesn't have to go all the way to ground. Okay, you can come up 2 or 3 feet, so you got air that'll blow through.
Hey, it's hot, air's stifling.
And actually, no, because where that bench is, it's open all the way through this way. And if it starts here and it ends here, then you've got airflow below.
I'll just make sure you don't create a
Yeah.
different problem.
I
Fix
mean,
one
it-
thing.
it's gonna be, you're basically, what you're doing is you're creating
Well, how
an
much-
arc that comes up just over your head.
the difference was that how much money is it?
That,
I mean, that's what I mean, like, I don't mind spending money, but I mean, is it just?
Are we doing this to one or two people?
Majority of people,
That's
like,
what I was.
I'd rather spend the money on something that everybody gets to enjoy versus.
Yeah.
Thing a little bit.
The only problem with the bolt on, again, is
Like
that
this,
the winds do not,
something like that.
that looks like your backyard.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that doesn't look like, to me, it would go down there. And then, again, it's one of those things where it's not tall enough, the kids are not, and the wind's catching it, so who's gonna take it down? How do you mount it if it's not going to be mounted in the pavement permanently, or the concrete permanently? Then it's gotta be, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Is this something we?
The canopy that we use right now on shade structures stay there all the time.
Look at the capital list and see if it comes up there at the top. I mean, it's just like,
Yeah.
I would think it just needs to be prioritized.
Initially, when
It's a
you're
good idea. It's gonna rank if you're putting everything in the list or something.
You're talking about down there getting hot. Put a bracket on there, they can bring it on.
It's summertime.
See, I really don't want them putting anything on those memorial benches.
Yeah.
These were paid for not by the city, but by other folks. You know, and here you are mounting something on that bench that they've got their loved one on. Not them, but we don't allow that anywhere else.
It's summer, it's
We don't want to put trees there.
I just don't.
You go to the
I
pool,
don't
you go
see
to.
personally, that's just my opinion.
I mean, you can.
And again, you know, I'm going by, it was just brought up, I did some investigating.
Open up there, you'll be asking for a tennis court and everywhere else will want one too. So, I mean, you kind of open it in.
I'm bracing.
I think that,
But yes, I know what you're saying.
Because you do have
I mean, like,
significant tree coverage.
I mean, I've seen tennis.
So it's only, we're talking about a certain area, a certain time. Yeah, because the trees aligning the east side,
And the west too.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, your worst part about it is midday.
Yeah.
10 to 2, 10 to 3, something like that. And I know in the summertime, that can be the hottest part of the day, but
I mean, like tennis courts don't have cut roof, basketball courts. I mean, I don't see the need for it.
well,
Unless we.
I will continue to explore that just to see what it looks like, what we can come up with. If I can get something and then, but based on what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing, to do this,
Whatever we do would have to not, like you're saying, would be not like a residential thing. It would be a.
it would need to be architectural. It needs to match our fountain. This is a fountain. The splash pad is kind of the second thing.
Yeah.
You know, we allow the splash pad because it's cheaper than trying to do 2 of them. And my biggest concern is whatever we do is going to have to be something that's not going to take away from the effect of that fountain. And if you do something that looks like it's your backyard, then it's more of it looks swimming poolish instead of the center point of our park. So when you do something, it needs to have an architectural look to it that would actually, I would think, blend.
Also last, also last, make it so you don't.
Yeah, and it needs to be something that lasts, because I have found
Do it right.
most of the small oak canopies like that, you know, and then here they go fading, it wears out, it rots. Then but the material that we get for these down here,
Old and stuff on.
that stuff lasts forever. Well, it doesn't last forever, but it lasts a long time.
How long have we had to?
We've replaced these. Have we ever replaced them? The playground stuff down here between fields 1 and 2. That's the same material that we bought originally when those were put in. Now you're talking about 10 years or better,
Yeah, that's
because we take them down in the winter time.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, but, yeah, I think we're just at the, people have to understand, I mean, to do this, if there's 1 or 2 people, because if we go through the process of doing it, it's gonna be expensive, because we'd have to do it a certain standard. And so I think we just need to really gauge whether it's something that
one or two people want, or it's been brought up, multiple people are using it, hey, this is a significant issue, we do need to address it. I lean probably to that it's probably not a big issue, but one or two people might want it.
And also, let's just say, trees wouldn't be the best to have there because of the water, fat and all that stuff. So you really don't want to do that, right? But so, I mean, you kind of, otherwise you'd say put a tree there and then it does, but that right there kind of.
That really didn't work. It's like putting a tree near a pool. It just doesn't work. This is a swimming pool. We have to treat it just like a swimming pool. So when it clogs up, I mean, we have trouble with them hauling grass in there if we mowed it. That's the reason we use the bagger to try to get most of it. But even with that, we still get grass in there. And then when that happens,
Yeah, I just make sure.
You're right.
Other back, some less expensive option that's not hardscape or something.
you know, a lot of people could bring their own chairs and their own umbrellas if they want. You know, and that, no one stops them from doing that. You know, and it's like we put the bleachers out for different activities. And 70% of the people still bring their own chairs. Even when we got bleachers, they bring their own chairs and sit in their own.
Baseball games, soccer games, tennis,
That's exactly right. Anyway. I think that's covered it, ain't it?
You know, apply for new business or the
Which one?
small field lot.
What about?
You talking about for the whole park? Oh, okay.
You talking about the new, the LED lights or something, the old 1 and 2?
Never mind.
Oh, okay.
Putting the timers on.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no, that's, yeah, something we want to look at on the baseball field. We're having a lot of trouble. We've had trouble, probably, and more so than anything else, because those, we have a lot. We got half the fields on LED and half the fields on the old hot metal halide. Well, because of that, that's a whole lot of energy expended. People have a bad habit of turning them on and then never turning them off. Assuming, I guess they thought that they're all going to go off automatically. We want to put timers on it where they go off at 11 o'clock, regardless. There shouldn't be anybody out there playing after 11 o'clock anyway. And
Because you feel too much that way, it's like, it's not that, I love
yeah, are you okay with that?
it.
Now, granted, some of the others, the LED lights that we have at pickleball, the LED at basketball and skate park, they don't ever go completely out, but they're all LED and they downscale. So when someone actually goes out there, they go back up. Well, at the ball fields, they just, you know, they turn them on, they turn them off, turn them on. We put them on a timer, then we don't have to worry about them leaving and not turning them off. They're staying on all night.
It guarantees it, you know, you also not interfering with them too much, it's say
11 o'clock is past normal game time anyway. And if they've got something special going on, all they gotta do is say something to us. And for the league, we'll do that, but I'm not gonna open it up. We don't close the park. But at the same time, there's no reason for us to be paying for electrical bills at 2 a.m.
It's wasteful, which is no sense in wasteful. That's good stewards of your money, you know.
So you guys don't have any problem with that?
No problem.
Is 11 o'clock okay with you guys?
I think that's plenty of time.
Okay.
I can't see.
I don't know that I really want to do them at 10 because sometimes they push that. And then you've got some time after that where people need to be getting their stuff to get out. This gives them an hour to get that done.
Everybody's trying to gather their stuff.
And so, and if we put the timer on it, then they don't have to worry about shutting them off. They can just gather the stuff up and leave, knowing that they're going to go off. So I think that'll actually be beneficial. They don't have to turn the lights off and go out in the dark. They'll go off automatically.
Well, let me ask you this, if you leave them in on mode and they can automatically turn off, will they stay off? Will they keep back on the next day?
On a timer, they should come back on because it's designed for them to be able to come back on. Well, I don't know. We're leaving it.
We'll fix it where they'll shut off. I mean, they'll shut off. You won't be able to turn them back on until.
You can recycle them or something.
Yeah. That way they're not down there punching the button. Some kid walks by.
Right.
11:15. We're not finished yet, you know. So there's a lot of mornings I come in, everything's gone. All of the ball field lights are on.
They've never been off. They turned, left them on. Went in there and practiced late in the dark, or after dark, and then just walked off and left them. And I understand what they're doing. They're leaving, and I guess they think they're on a timer or whatever, but they just leave and go home because it's now it gives them something that if they don't turn them off, I mean, if they turn them off, they have to come out with a flashlight or the light on their phone because it's darker than pitch, you know. So I understand the issue with that. And this probably the timer would be a situation where they know that, okay, you got till 10:30, and you got 30 minutes to get yourself together and get out while it's still light. Otherwise, you're going to be walking out in the dark.
Some kind of indication, they know, say these lights are going off at
Exactly.
11, so there's no.
Yeah, we
There's
can,
The
no-
lights will
they-
turn
they-
off
they can start
automatically at
ramping
11 p.m.
you know, we can put a little sign out there on extra light switches.
They put their league rule book that, hey, we got to finish your game.
Get about 10, that gives them,
10:30, whatever the thing. And that's,
You know,
and that gives them plenty of time to finish it up and go.
And if there's an exception, they can always ask.
Exactly.
But the rain out, so they're just trying to get something finished up. And
So I appreciate it, guys.
it's called.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, I was drawing a blank when you said that. And now, what else have we forgotten or have I forgotten? I think that's kind of it right
I
now.
think that's about it.
So,
Do they have anything to do, well, Civic Center?
oh, y'all packed, yeah, here's what's going on in the Civic Center, FYI. We've ordered and got in, we've gotten 20 round tables. We're gonna take and keep 20 rectangular and then the 20 round tables, and that gives us 40 tables. We also ordered all new chairs, and so we've got 320 new folding chairs to match with that. The old tables, anything above the 20 that we're keeping, are being split between the amphitheater and the airport. Half of them are going out to the airport, along with 80 chairs, and the balance of the chairs that we keep. And the other tables will go to the amphitheater and we utilize as necessary down there. So, so we've got that moving along.
That was a sign out in the street, you know, what says Parks and Post Office and something else, somebody's knocked it kind of sign. It's the intersection of 95 and 5th Avenue.
The brown sign. Okay.
Yeah, the wind gets them real bad for some reason.
This Friday is the last movie in the park. It'll be The Wizard of Oz, but this is the last one for this season. So that's at 7. I remember 7:15 or 7:30. 7:15? I think 7:15 is when the movie starts. So just so you know, probably gonna be the last food truck, I guess too. I don't know. She didn't say anything about that. And then of course we'll have the Christmas. That'll be first weekend of December, right?
Yeah, I was gonna see when all that was gonna take place. So we know
It's always, I want to say it's always the first weekend of December.
We have the tree lighting, yeah, right after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, there'll be tree lighting.
How's that been going? How's that been going? With
What's that?
all of the movies in the park?
It's going well this year, probably more so than the past. The other activities bring them down there to help bring them down there earlier, and so there's something to do instead of waiting until dark at 9 something. So, and it's on a Friday night instead of a Saturday night, which makes it also easier because the next morning they're not having to get up and drag the kids to church or something else, you know, and whether they're still tired because you run a movie at 9:30, well, 2 hours later it's 11:30, and you're getting home at midnight with the kids, and they don't want to get up the next morning. And you might not either, you know. So it actually works better, I think, doing it on Friday nights. So we've hit a combination that seems to be working good. And it's not every Friday night. It's, you know, once or twice, well, usually once a month. So that's very helpful too. It's not overwhelming. It's not overkill. And we've had some sponsors this year too. We actually had, a couple of, groups that have actually come out and actually sponsored the movies for us instead of the city throwing out for all of it. They actually came out and sponsored it and got some advertising, and that worked nicely. So,
Good movie.
sure is.
I don't know if their kids nowadays watch that.
Ever watched that or not? That might be new to them. I can't remember. I can't tell you how many people told me that when they were young and watched The Wizard of Oz, it scared them to death. The monkeys, the flying monkeys scared them to death. I don't know, nothing ever scared me like Dracula's teeth. All right, that's all I have. You guys have any questions or any concerns or ideas?
I think I'm good. Motion
That's
to adjourn.
yeah, that's good, huh?
No motion.
Second. Aye. Meeting adjourned at 6:11 p.m.
Very good.
Yeah, I think we lost the tough one this last week.